Hi friends, I'm Kelly Aten, or you may know me better as Kay Aten. Remember Me Synthetica is my newest sci-fi novel published by Regal Crest Enterprises. What happens when a woman loses her memory but gains a conscience? Dr. Alexandra Turing is a roboticist whose intellect is unrivaled in the field of artificial intelligence. While science has always come easy, Alexandra struggles to understand emotional cues and responses. Driven by the legacy of her late great-uncle, she dedicates her life to the Synthetica project at her father's company, Organic Advancement Solutions, OAS. Her life is rebooted when she wakes from a coma 6 months after being struck by a car. Traumatic brain injury altered Alex's senses, her memory, and her personality. Despite the changes, she feels reborn as she navigates her way back into her old life. Part of her new journey includes dating the alluring Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, Emily St. John. Emily is enamored with the highly intelligent scientist, but there are things about Alex and OAS that don't add up. With Emily's prompting, Alex undergoes testing that leaves her with more questions than answers. What she discovers changes more than her life. It will change the world around her. I'll be reading from Chapter 3 right after Alex adopts a stray kitten she found while walking back to her condo with her best friend Val. I'm going to call her Anna. I lean the bag of cat food against the kitchen counter and gently place the new cat carrier on the floor next to it before opening the door. I watched attentively as the freshly washed and medically healthy kitten crept out to explore. I removed the cell phone from my pocket and took a picture of her. Why Anna? Because at work we have AN, which stands for Artificial Neural Network. I added an A to the end because the cat is very cute, and sometimes the letter A is added to cute things. At least it made logical sense to me. Artificial Neural Network Animal. I'll admit, I'm still trying to follow your logic on this decision, Alex. I'm not even going to attempt to understand your reasoning behind the name. Where do you want this stuff? I turned to see Val holding the rest of my purchases from the veterinary clinic. She had a bag of litter and a covered litter pan, as well as another canvas sack full of cat dishes and toys. I thought about the layout of my condo. How about the utility room? Val huffed and strode across the kitchen, through the open door to the room that housed my laundry and pantry overflow. Val's voice called out from the room a little over a minute later. Bring her this way so she can see where the food and litter is. I quickly grabbed the little cat and the bag of food and made my way to the utility room, then placed Anna in the freshly filled litter pan. She scratched around for a few seconds, but didn't use it. Instead, she ran over to where Val had filled her dishes with food that I had just brought and water from the laundry sink. There were small crinkly balls among the cat toys, so I grabbed one from the bag and threw it into the living room. Anna immediately sprinted after it, and I followed the kitten so I wouldn't miss any of her antics. I sat on the couch, and Val took a seat on the nearby chair, watching me as much as I watched Anna. Val's gaze was heavy. It felt heavy, even though I knew it was merely a reaction to seeing her watch me so intently in my peripheral vision. I didn't question her curiosity. Instead, I spoke about how I was feeling, which was one of the recovery exercises that were recommended by Dr. Jones. I'm really glad I brought her home. Watching Anna makes me feel strangely happy. How does it make you feel happy? Her question was difficult to answer, and it took me a minute and 15 seconds to find the starting point. Happy is hard to explain. I feel lighter, though I know neither my mass nor Earth's gravitational pull have changed. It's like I have multiple emotions running through me at once whenever I look at her. Tenderness, protectiveness, joy, worry. I've felt some of them from my work before, haven't I? I remember saying things that would indicate such. You have. I'd like to get back to work as soon as possible. Val started to speak, and I cut her off. I know you'll be staying with me this coming week, and that you took time off to help me acclimate to life here at home. However, I think Synthetica Project would be best served if you used the time to update me on all that I'd missed during my absence. Work is the majority of my life, and the thing I need to feel most whole. I want to feel vital, normal again. Val frowned. I suppose we could do that. I have my laptop upstairs, and yours is locked in the safe in your office. Your father put it there himself after the accident. I touched the skin between my brows where I could feel a crinkle form with my thoughts. Memory was a complicated thing, and I did my best to recall my final actions in the project before everything went dark in front of that coffee shop. I remember that we had just made a breakthrough on neural mapping for the positronic brain on the day of the accident. That's correct. Reconfiguring the various lobe networks allowed for a seamless simulation of human thought and even increased the learning instinct that was programmed in by Dr. Venga. That allowed the android to take whatever base program it was given and evolve it exponentially, from intellect to emotion. However, despite those advancements, the chemical synaptic gel that encases the primary CPU lobe requires an influx of trichlorosilane. Without it, the positronic brain suffers rapid memory degradation and eventual system collapse. The more the brain is taxed, the faster the decay. The additive was unfamiliar. What is trichlorosilane? It's a colorless and volatile inorganic compound. It rapidly decomposes in water to produce silicone polymer while giving off hydrochloric acid. The small amount of acid clears the circuitry and neural pathways, and the silicone adds a protective layer after to help prolong the life of the system. Fascinating. Motion near the bookshelf caught my eye. Anna had jumped up to the third shelf and readied herself for the big leap to the mantel above the gas fireplace. My gaze moved with concern to the glass candle holders interspersed evenly along the dark-stained length. No, Anna. Sal began laughing. She's not going to listen to you. I looked at her, curious as to how she could know such a thing. Why not? Her expression indicated that it was being particularly dense. Alex, she's a cat. They do what they want. Both our gazes were drawn back to the fireplace when the little tawny tiger leapt from the bookshelf to the mantel. You better stop her before she breaks your candles. I'm certain she won't damage any. I stopped speaking as a little paw hooked around the candle holder and pulled it to the edge of the wood. Perhaps I should. My words proved too late as the candle holder dropped to the stone tiles in front of the fireplace with a crash. Oh, format me! The remembered favorite exclamation slipped out before I could think about my reaction, and I jumped from the couch to retrieve the cat before she caused more trouble. Sal laughed but made no move to leave the chair to help me. You were saying? I scolded the kitten. Anna, you are a very bad cat. She rubbed her head against the index finger I'd been shaking at her, and I smiled. Then I realized the effect she was having on me, and I walked over and deposited her into Fal's lap. She is entirely too cute for me to function properly. Please hold her so I can clear the broken pieces. As I used a vacuum to remove the glass pieces from the floor, my attention was drawn back to the chair. The smile returned when I witnessed my cat-opposed best friend stroking Anna's soft fur.